Hi, Patsy. And Ronnie and Nancy St. Pierre. All right, we'll wait about one more minute for people to find me. Sometimes I had a few seconds there, trouble logging in, so let's give people a minute. Okay, we've got almost 30 seconds left. All right. Looks good. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for joining me tonight. It is Wednesday night. It is my Step Up Stampin'. I know you all know who I am, but like I tell you all the time, I upload this to YouTube. My name is Corinne Sandin. I'm a Stampin' Up demonstrator here in Lewiston, Maine. I've been teaching stamping and scrapbooking for 20 years. I hope you guys all had a great day. The sun was absolutely gorgeous today. It was a little cool, but we went for a walk, Miss Pearl and I, so she was pretty happy with that. We don't get walking as much as we do when it's not winter, but the road was clear, so we went and walked the parking lot and stuff, so we had a good day. So I hope you all did too. I hope you did something fun. Other than that, I worked on getting the paper swap together. I'm almost done the card sketch one, and then I'll start working on my Stampin' Stacks. So this is the hostess code. We only have about one more week, 10 days or so. So if you'd like to put it in order that's less than $150, please use this hostess code. If your order is more than $150, you do not need a hostess code. And usually if it is $150 before tax and shipping, the option to put in a host code doesn't even come up. So if that happens with you, don't think you've done something wrong. Everybody that placed an order between January 5th, and there's quite a few tickets in the bucket. I'll try to bring it up Monday so you can see it. Until the 28th, for every $50 order before tax and shipping, you will get one ticket. If you hosted an online or a catalog workshop, you will get 2 tickets. And I will be drawing on a Monday night right here live. You'll see the bucket and everything, and we'll pull it up from there. So it is winding down to when you can place an order if you would like the technique class. The only way you can get it is by placing a $35 order. There is some advantages. You're going to get this month. You're going to get one of these blending brushes with your card kits. If you do this for 6 consecutive months in a row, you will get a gift card from me on month 7 that you can use for Stampin' Up products or what classes, whatever you want. So I got my paper pumpkin today for this month. It's beautiful, but I just wanted to make sure people understand that March is our anniversary month, so to speak, for paper pumpkin. I think they call it birthday month, but so they always give us a free gift. This time they're going to give us 4 of these little stencils and a sponge. They have never given us stencils. With every stamp set, with every paper pumpkin, you get a complete stamp set and a minimum of 1 ink spot. Occasionally, we get more than that. So if you think you might want to get just this one, you have to place either buy a prepaid subscription or place an online order by March 10th. All right, I think that's all of my housekeeping stuff. So, hi Anita and Carol and Diane, I'm glad to see you here. Connie, Stephanie, I saw Sharon, I saw Patsy. So every now and then a customer will ask me to do something specific for them. So Connie reached out to me and asked me to use this stamp set with the dies. And I have to say, I've had it for quite a while. I've had it since before Christmas because we had a Christmas set. And I did not take the time to play with it or whatever, and so it just sat there. So if you have a stamp set or a product that you're not comfortable with using, please let me know. If I have it, I will be more than happy to create a class around it like we do here on Facebook. If I don't have it, I might ask you if I can borrow it if you're local. So that's where tonight's cards come from. I would not consider this the best class for somebody that's just starting out. You know, those of you that have been with me for a number of years, I always say some of this stuff is left brain, right brain thing. And this is definitely one of them. However, there's a wonderful Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that you can find online. I love what I do, and we all share. Her name is Frenchie, and she has a cheat sheet on how to use these dies. So this is the first card we're going to make. As you can see, I pulled out some old paper. Well, it's not old paper, it's still current, but we haven't used this paper for a while. This was the flowers for all seasons. So I did change up the colors a little bit. I'm going to use a white base, a magenta layer, but I used the same paper. I just wanted you to see how different it is. So what happens is, if you want your card to go this way, the width of it is your normal layer. So like, for example, this particular card, the base is 8.5 by 5.5, scored at 4 1/4. So my first mat is the 4 by 5 1/4, which we're all used to. Then this normal layer would be 3 3/4 by 5. But as you can see, I have about a 3/4 inch area here that I want to be able to stamp on. So that means you have to cut down your paper to allow for that spacing, that 3/4 of an inch. So let me grab the die. I put these magnetic sheets in my thing to keep my dies a little bit straighter. So this is what you're going to be drawing for on March 1st. So let me grab the plates, and they're all numbered, so I'm going to go to 1 because that tells me what I need. Place die cutting down, so this is the die cutting. Use with thin dies. And then we need 2 plates. So let me see if, oh, I didn't even think of that. Oh, my paper is going to just barely fit. I didn't even think of that. Your item can't be any wider than this, but I think we'll be okay. Let me see. It's going to be close, but I'll give it a whirl. The worst that can happen is I'll walk you through the process. So you want to make sure everything is lined up nice. And okay, so we want this to go from here to here. All right, so you can decide how far down you want. You can see it's probably about 1.5 inches, so I'm going to try doing that here. I can't promise you it's going to work. I did cut the original on my big cutter. You know what? I'm going to go cut it on my big cutter. I don't want to ruin the paper. I'll be right back. I wasn't even thinking of that when I was planning this. Yes, I do have an electric cutter. If you've been with me for a period of time, you know that I've had several frozen shoulders and frozen thumbs, so the less repetitive stuff I have to do, the better. So I'm going to set that aside for a minute. So now you can see, when you run it through, you get this pretty decorative and then this plain Jane side. Now, the other thing I noticed about these stamps is that they're very big. So I used my Stamparatus. So for this one, I want wishing you the happiest birthday. So I'm all set up for the next card, which is the one I probably should have started with, but that's okay. I'm just going to flip my plate over. And then what I'm going to do is, hopefully you can see all of this. That's the other downside about videotaping. You have limited area. So I'm going to put this where it would normally go. And I'm holding it with my magnets. Now make sure if you buy one of these, to me they're worth the money in gold, make sure you put some type of paper or tape or something on these so that they don't get connected. I know somebody's on here that they're almost impossible to get together, get apart. Okay, so what I do is, when my stamp is clean, I put it where I want it to be. Then it gets attached to my cover. And I'm going to grab my black pad. And ours comes out. You get two lids. I'm just using our regular Memento Black. And if I have to stamp a whole bunch of stuff, I always use this. I really have gotten so that it's my best friend now. I'm just going to hold that down for about 10 or 15 seconds because it is a polymer. Let it gravitate to the paper. And see how I missed it here, so I can come back and ink it up. Just hold it there, pushing it down. Still, just keep doing it, it'll get it. I'm going to try moving this. Maybe it's this. I find your palm works better. There we go. I'll take this one off. So I can flip it back over for my next project. Okay, so let's finish this one up. Oh no, Tombo's missing. There it is. Okay, so now I'm going to put some wet glue or Tombow, whichever you call it. Yeah, I did have a score mark, but I don't waste anything. I'm going to hold that there just for a minute. Doesn't take long for that Tombow to attach. But I like it better than tape runners because it gives you a minute or two to make modifications. Okay, so now I'm going to hold this side there for a minute. grab my white card base, which is Thick Whisper White. Some more Tombow. And I did punch a different flower. This is So Saffron. Put a drop of Tombow here. And stagger these to make it look a little fuller. And then I thought I'd punch a different color. I like it though. This is Bermuda Bay. All I kept thinking of is Connie's color. She likes this with purple. It is very pretty. So tuck those right underneath. This paper comes 6 by 6. You get 48 sheets. I know I'm not good about showing you where it is in the catalog, and I apologize for that. But I do put the item numbers tomorrow when you see the card recipe. And then I thought I would put blings on this one. So let me get my pickup tool. I'm going to put 3, believe it or not, people. Put a cluster on my flower, on my daisy. Well, that one doesn't want to stick. I've used my putty up so much, I got to order some more. Yeah, that one's done. Pretty, isn't it? See if I can get this to fold a little bit better. Okay, so card number 2 is I wanted to show you how we have some like cutouts that you can do, these vines, these cute little birds. So that's what this card is. I changed up the colors a little bit. So for this one, I'm using Bermuda Bay. I'm using some of that So Ombre paper. And then I just wanted to show you what you would do is you'd stamp it. This one, though, I probably can get in that little cutter. I wanted to show you guys the cutter. So you would stamp it. Let me get my plates again. So, as you can see, I've lined it up with the stamp image. I use a little piece of washi tape just to hold it. Put my top plate on. Make sure everything's lined up nice. Before you start cranking, put it in as far as you can. See, I don't have it straight. Doesn't like to be crooked. There we go. It cranks so much easier than our old one. And you will hear a little bit of cracking and popping. That's normal, but nothing like we used to have. So then I would just color this, which I've already done to save time. I used soft seafoam and soft Bermuda Bay. Let me put my die away because I can't tell you how many dies I've lost. Okay, so for this one, I did cut off a little bit. It is 6 inches, I believe. Oh, no, six and a quarter. And then I scored it at 4 1/4. So we have this flap. What I'm going to do is attach my designer paper first so that it fits snug right up to here. I'm going to use some Tombow. Just like that. You could use your tear and tape. I probably wouldn't use my tape runner unless you have the Seal Plus because it's going to get quite a bit of friction. So I want to make sure it's even with this flap, so hopefully you can see what I'm doing. I line up my edges and I make sure it's touching my table down here where the fold is. There we go. Take your bone folder and really burnish that. Make sure it's attached well. Then I'm going to stamp my greeting. So this is what you do. You put your whatever you want to stamp on. I like to use the grid sheet. It just keeps me straight, that's all. Some people use Post-it notes. It depends on what I'm doing. So I'm going to take my You're 1 in a million. I want enough room for my ribbon. So again, I have it where I want it. Put the lid on. Lid down, I mean. I'm going to move this because I don't want it to be affected by that. Grab my black ink again. I would suggest that you put a stamp pad or a stamp set underneath your lid so you don't snap it from here. Check, make sure I don't have any ink. Sometimes I find if I have a long sleeve shirt on and just rub it back and forth, I can put a little bit more pressure. Just going to pull up the paper. Try not to have it pull up your paper if you can, just in case. This particular case, I don't have to go back and re-stamp it, but if you had to, you want to make sure it's in the exact same position. Okay, so I'm using this. This is my favorite ribbon, and I do apologize it is no longer available. But I got to use up what I have, people. If you could see my room, I have too much stuff. Because none of us could relate to that, right? None of you have too much stuff. Okay, so we're going to tape this on the cheated method. So this time I want this side out. So let me put that like that. I like to use masking tape or washi tape, save my good stuff for my cards. Use the cheap stuff for holding my ribbon down. Okay, so that's all set. And that's going to get lined up right even again, one more time. Right even with this edge. So let's put some wet glue again. Come along the edge. Let me put a little bit over here. So again, I'm going to have this standing up on its fold. I can get it right down there. Line up my edges. Hold it there just for a minute. And burnish it. Then I did pre-color this, like I told you. I used the light seafoam and the light Bermuda Bay. Let's put some Stampin' Dimensionals behind that. I'm going to put quite a few. And if you've never used blends, it's common for it to kind of bleed through like that. That's nothing to worry about. If you use your thick Whisper White, it's not quite as bad. Okay. So let's grab the pickup tool to get all those little things off. Kind of like flick. Just center that, kind of like that. Tie my ribbon by sliding it underneath. Again, I leave it on the spool. I find I use less by doing that. Pull it nice and snug. Grab my ribbon scissors. I probably should have used the Granny Apple Green, but I was worried that it might be too dark. That's why I didn't. I'm going to trim these down just a little bit more. There, that's better. All right, we need some blings. Clean up this mess. Grab a couple of blings for you. So which one do you like better? I know there's green people and there's Bermuda Bay people. So this is the Christmas stamp set, and then this is the All Occasion stamp set. They're still both available. So there we go. So next, I'll be back on Monday night with Simple Stampin'. Normally, I would be doing Paper Pumpkin next Wednesday, but I'm going to postpone it another week because next week's the last week of celebration, and I want to be able to use a few more of my celebration products with you guys. So, little change there. So Monday night will be Simple Stampin'. I will post what you need for products if you want to stamp along with me. And then Wednesday night will be some type of a step up. So thank you everybody so much for joining me tonight. I hope you like the projects. I look forward to seeing you next week. Take care and be kind to each other. Wear your mask. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.